Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 1, Rebirth. Stinky Girl. Are you snoozing again? Breakfast is not ready yet. A familiar voice sounded, and the little girl standing on the bricks shivered her thin body, letting the broom slam on her back, making a pop sound. She groaned, sobbed and sniffed, but was strong and did not cry. Holding the pot and spoon that was too big for him, he continued to stir the vegetable porridge in the large iron pot. Hearing the choking sound from the girl, the old lady got angry, grabbed the little girl's ear with one hand, slapped the little girl's with the other hand, and said cursingly, "Stinky girl, I tell you, you are a loser. It is the kindness of our old Sioux family to give you a bite to eat. Don't be dissatisfied." Her ears turned crimson, and the little girl hurriedly begged for mercy. "Grandma, I know I'm wrong, please forgive me this time." The sound of bang was the sound of a foot kicking on the door. It was a boy in his early teens, yawning tiredly, expressing his dissatisfaction with being woken up. "What's the noise in the morning? It's not even 5 o'clock, I could have slept for another half an hour, do you want people to sleep well?" Seeing her beloved grandson, the old lady immediately had a bright smile on her face, and greeted her flatteringly, "My grandson, it's my grandma's fault, you go back to sleep and wait for the stinky girl to cook the meal." "Well, Grandma called you again." "I've been woken up, so I can't sleep." The boy paced listlessly in front of the big iron pot, looked at it with his head, and saw that his temper came up again. He frowned in displeasure and complained, "Why is it vegetable porridge again? Can you have some oil and water?" "That's right." The old lady quickly echoed, "My good grandson is at the age of growing up. Stinky girl, go outside to see if the hens are laying eggs, and cook two for your brother to eat." The girl nodded sheepishly and trotted out of the house. As she walked, she raised her hand and wiped the overflowing tears with her sleeve. She was already dead, but she was reborn in this body, which had to be traced back 2 years ago. In her last life, her name was also Sue Mian. She loved music since she was a child, and dreamed of becoming a singer, so that her voice and her music could spread to every corner of the world. It is also God's mercy, who rewarded her with this meal. When I tried to post a song on the internet for the first time, it spread like a wave and quickly became popular. She has the voice of nature, and her voice is called by fans that she has been kissed by an angel. However, the good times did not last long. A fire, although she was lucky enough to survive, took away her appearance and even more cruelly took away her beautiful voice. She didn't give up, she picked herself up again and was ready to go behind the scenes. She started writing songs for her sister, who sang them on her behalf. At the end of her memory, it was her who had a heated argument with her family. Because she found that the new song released by her sister, in the lyrics, composition and arrangement, is not recorded by her name Sue Mian, but the name of her sister Sue Chun. Distraught, she asked loudly why the family did this. The father, who loves money like his life, tried to explain, "Mianer, shaping the image of a genius will help Chunner to become popular faster." He started the song and watched it in just 4 hours, breaking through 1 million. His eyes were full of greed. "Look at Mianer. Your song has become popular. It's hot." But no one knows that the creator of this song is her Sue Mian. The mother handed her the one-shoulder backpack worth nearly 10,000 yuan, and said flatly, "This is the brand you have always wanted to buy. As long as Chunner can maintain this momentum, let alone a bag, other things you like, Mom can buy it for you. Is it for me or for you? So you disregard my wishes and just use me as a tool to make money?" The younger sister, who tasted the sweetness of being famous, with a fake smile, sticks up intimately and hugs her arm. "My good sister, as long as I start the name of a talented musician, I will become famous in the future. Gu, I promise you are the signature, okay?" Sue Mian stiffly pulled out her hand and swept the so-called family members in front of her indifferently. Suddenly, they turned into horrific vampires, clinging to her, trying to drain every drop of blood from her. What is the difference between she is alive and dead? Before the disheartened Sue Mian fainted, there was a mechanical DDD sound in his ears. It was his father, who loved money and ran out, shouting, "Where's the doctor? Come and help. My daughter, she can't die yet." And the terrified screams of the mother and sister. Yes, if she died, No one would continue to write songs for her sister who was desperate for quick success, and they would not be able to get more money and live a prosperous life. While she was drifting dazedly in the vast sea of smoke and clouds, an ethereal voice sounded in her ears, the grief of separation, the return of the soul. Su Mian, go back to where you should be. You are Su Jia Zi Mian. She felt that she was being pulled by a mysterious force, and when she opened her eyes again, she became another Su Mian, a 4-year-old girl who was born in a patriarchal family and was abused by her family. She didn't know that it was the original Su Mian falling into the water that caused her soul to reside in this small body. Still, like the words deeply imprinted in her mind, this body is where her soul belongs. With a high fever, she was beaten by her grandmother with a broom the next day and forced to get up to cook breakfast for her brother. In addition to cooking, I was also responsible for cleaning and helping the family with farming, which took 2 years. She didn't feel any human rights in the old Su family, she lived like a slave in ancient times. Seeing that Su Mian couldn't come back, the old lady looked for it cursingly, snatched the egg that Su Mian was holding tightly in her hand, poked Su Mian's forehead with her index finger, and glanced suspiciously at Su Mian's clothes. Cursed, stinky girl, you have been away for so long, you are not secretly hiding eggs, right? Su Mian's clothes were all left over from her brother's clothes. Compared to her tall and sturdy brother, Su Mian, 6-year-old, was undernourished, skinny, and looked very pitiful. She bit her lower lip lightly and shook her head slowly. A crisp voice sounded, the voice of the old lady slapped Su Mian's face. Are you dumb? Can you speak? Tears swirled in Su Mian's eyes. She didn't dare to cry. Crying would only bring more beatings and scolding from her grandmother. Grandma, I didn't steal eggs. It was too dark, so I moved slowly. Su Mian's explanation seemed to be a cover-up from the old lady's point of view. She pointed at a few bricks and yelled angrily, you kneel for me, and when I cook the eggs for my good grandson, I will teach you again. If the sky does not fight, go up to the beam and uncover the tile. Not daring to disobey Grandma's order, Su Mian obediently walked over and fell to her knees on the bumpy bricks. Within 2 minutes, the old lady came out with a broom upside down. Su Mian closed her eyes in fright. When Su Mian was in despair, accompanied by the knock on the door of Dong Dong Dong, it was a voice full of ingratiating, Old Su's house, is anyone here? A distinguished guest is visiting. The old lady aggressively opened the gate of the yard and shouted, what's the matter with you, village chief? The village chief saw Su Mian kneeling on the bricks, and saw the broom held by the old lady, his heart twitched nervously, sweating profusely, and shouted, yes, it's only early in the morning, why are you beating girl Mian again? Hey! The old lady was not happy now, and asked instead, I'm teaching my granddaughter, what's your business? Come here so early, what a nuisance. The voice that suddenly sounded was full of alienation. The one who stepped in was a lady with a shocking appearance. The most striking thing was her natural noble temperament. Even if she lives in a remote village, there are very few people who don't know her. She is known as the Queen, the national level 3 gold actress Xia Xian. The author says, new writers, please support me a lot. This is a very sweet novel, everyone is welcome to raise your daughter together. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 2, Warm Embrace. When Xia Xian saw the little Su Mian, she couldn't take her eyes away. Those slender phoenix eyes with their tails slightly upturned are exactly the same as him. And the slightly curly hair was inherited from her husband. There was no need to do a paternity test at all. When Xia Xian saw the little girl in front of her, she could feel her heart beating so fast that she was about to suffocate. She could be sure that she was indeed her lost daughter. Xia Xian trotted over quickly and hugged Su Mian into her arms. Tears overflowed uncontrollably and dripped onto Su Mian's neck. The helpless Su Mian called out tremblingly, "Eh. Auntie. Naughty girl." Xia Xian wiped away the tears on her face, hugged Su Mian, who was as light as a feather, into her arms, looked at Su Mian's yellowish and thin face, and said softly, "I'm sorry, little Cotton, it was my mother who brought it here. It's too late, you must have suffered a lot in the past 2 years, and mother will take you home." Hearing Xia Xian's self-declaration, Su Mian was stunned. Of course she knew the identity of the lady in front of her and asked in disbelief, "Are you my mother?" "Yes." Xia Xian helped her daughter to tuck a messy strand of hair behind her ear, and affirmed, "I am your mother, you are our little princess, and your real name should be Su Zimian." Looking at the tenderness in Xia Xian's eyes, she recalled what happened in the previous life and the abuse she received in this life. Su Mian, no, she should be called Su Zimian, and she felt sore and unbearable. Her soul screamed and trembled, as if telling her, "Don't doubt, the woman in front of you is your real mother." In a trance, she remembered the words engraved in her mind, "Song of Separation, Return of the Soul." Su Mian, go back to where you should be. You are Su Jia Zi Mian. Countless grievances poured out. Su Zimian fell into Xia Xian's arms, wrapped her arms around Xia Xian's neck, and said with a sob, "Mom, I finally found you." "What mom?" The old lady was stunned, glared at the village chief, and asked, "What kind of drama is this?" The village chief rolled his eyes and was about to explain when he heard the movement outside. The Su family brother came out. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief and exclaimed, "I'm going. I'm not dazzled, I think I've seen it before. Queen of the nation." Brother Su ran over in a hurry, rubbed his hands excitedly, and cheered, "Queen, can you sign my name for me?" Xia Xian's face was indifferent. The boy in front of her was raised to be strong and strong, while her daughter was yellow-faced and thin, and she could feel a piece of clear bone, so thin that she could easily hold it up. It is not difficult for her to imagine how her daughter was abused in the Su family for more than 2 years. Seeing the biting cold wind in Xia Xian's eyes, the Su family brother stepped back in horror. The Queen Xia who appeared in the camera is always dignified and cold, how could she be so suffocating? "Who are you?" Seeing that her excellent grandson was ignored, the old lady was not happy. She pulled her good grandson behind her, and looked critically at the gorgeously dressed Xia Xian. "Don't think there are a few you can do whatever you want with stinky money, my old lady doesn't eat this." Xia Xian didn't bother to talk too much with the old lady, and dared to abuse her daughter. She naturally had a way to teach the ignorant woman a lesson. She looked directly at the village chief and said, "She is indeed my lost daughter." What? Before she could finish her words, she was interrupted by an angry old lady. "What is your daughter?" "She is the girl of my Su family." Seeing that the old lady lifted her sleeves and looked like she was going to fight with Xia Xian, the village chief wiped the sweat from his forehead and hurriedly stepped forward to stop the old lady. "Hey, my old lady Su, isn't Mian girl? Did you buy it back 2 years ago?" "Ha! I bought it back with real money, isn't that the girl from my Su family?" The old lady sneered, "I don't care where the stinky girl comes from, as long as I buy it, it will be life or death. My Su family." Listening to the ignorance of the old lady's righteousness, the village chief turned around in a hurry. Their village is remote and backward, and many people buy girls from human traffickers and raise them as child brides. When everyone sees it, they are used to turning one eye and closing one eye. I don't embarrass your family, and you don't come to embarrass my family. But Xia Xian, who is at the pinnacle of Chinese actors, has an influence that ordinary people can't match. Thinking of the bodyguards in black who were guarding the door, the village chief couldn't help trembling twice, and persuaded, "Mr. Su, since the mother of Mian girl came to the door, you should take a step back." "Why?" the old lady shouted, "isn't the money I spend going to waste? And what about the expenses I spent on raising a stinky girl all these years? Will you pay me?" As he spoke, he glared at Su Mian and cursed, "It's really a loser." Xia Xian frowned, she understood, and it wasn't for money. She asked coldly, "Tell me, how much do you want?" The old lady glanced at the village chief who kept winking at her, and then at the good grandson who was staring at Xia Xian obsessively. After thinking about it, she opened her mouth and shouted, "I bought the stinky girl for 5,000 yuan, I haven't eaten or slept with me in the past 2 years. Since I bought it, the stinky girl is a member of my Su family. If you want to buy the stinky girl back, it will cost 100,000 yuan. 100,000. The old lady really opened her mouth like a lion, clearly seeing that Xia Xian was dressed luxuriously and wanted to blackmail the lady in front of her. It is said that the girl Mian has been bought for more than 2 years, eating leftovers at home, and wearing the clothes of Su's brother when he was a child. Don't say 100,000 yuan, I'm afraid I don't even have 1,000 yuan to spend on Mian girl. Xia Xian sneered, she didn't talk nonsense, and said directly, okay, can I transfer money? This. The old lady didn't know how to transfer money, she glanced at her good grandson. The Su family's elder brother knew that, in order to get close contact with the goddess, he hurried into the house, took out his mobile phone, and wanted to be as close to Xia Xian as possible. Xia Xian didn't want to stay for a moment until she heard the 100,000 payment, and left the Su family with Su Zimian in her arms. In the distance, the old lady's insatiable voice can be heard, it's really 100,000, dear grandson, am I going to have less money? The elder brother of the Su family echoed, that's Queen Xia Xian, not to mention 100,000, even if it is 1 million or 10 million, you can take it out immediately. The village chief hurriedly followed behind Xia Xian, chasing him all the way to the car, staring at Xia Xian expectantly, Ms. Xia, you see that your daughter has also been found, then. As he spoke, he rubbed his middle and index fingers with his thumb, indicating that it was time to give him a favor. No need for Xia Xian to say more, the gentle and elegant man sitting in the passenger seat asked with a smile, village chief, do you know that it is illegal to buy a kidnapped child? This. The village chief quickly shook his head and said, don't wrong us. We didn't kidnap these children. The villagers bought them and gave them a bite to eat. It's a great deed. Good deeds. The man said with a sneer, do you know how many families paid for their lost children? In our country, buying a kidnapped child can be punished by imprisonment for up to 3 years. Looking at the car that was driving away, the village chief ran anxiously behind, waving his hand, and shouting, Ms. Xia, let's discuss it again. Until the black car could no longer be seen, 3 words appeared in the village chief's mind, it's over. Sweet and soft girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 3, Little Princess of Su Family. Although Xia Xian was very sure that Su Mian was her daughter, she still took Su Mian for a paternity test to be on the safe side. After confirming Su Mian's identity, Su Mian changed her name back to Su Zimian and was officially brought home by Xia Xian. When Xia Xian, a former Jade girl, married the talented director Su Cheng, it was a storm. Most of the people were crying that their goddess would quit the film industry, but the marriage did not affect Xia Xian's career, but pushed Xia Xian's career to a peak. It was also the 2nd year of her marriage to Su Cheng, and Xia Xian won the first award in her life. An inch of land in a sea of markets, not to mention the Yinding district in the city center, if you want to own a villa here, you need at least 40 million. Su Zimian was only a child of an ordinary family in her last life, and in addition to the unwelcome 2 years of her life in this life, she was so cautious when she stepped on the soft carpet. Seeing the pitiful appearance of her daughter walking on thin ice, for fear of making a mistake and being beaten or abused, Xia Xian's heart was sour. Little Cotton is their little princess. It should have been held in the palm of the hand and grown up safely under their care. However, because they were too busy with their work and neglected to take care of her, their daughter was lost and abducted by human traffickers. Looking at Su Zimian's bony little body, Xia Xian hugged Su Zimian gently into her arms, and kept whispering the words, I'm sorry, in Su Zimian's ear. It was also at this moment that Xia Xian made a decision. In her first 43 years, she was working hard for her dream all the time. In the years that followed, she wanted to focus on her family. Mom. Sensing that her mother was immersed in boundless sorrow, Su Zimian hugged Xia Xian back, her fluffy little head tightly pressed against her mother's Shengxiang's arms. Xia Xian stood up, held her daughter's soft and boneless hand, and said softly, Go, mommy will show you your bedroom. If you're not satisfied, tell mommy. Su Zimian didn't know what this bedroom was like, but she only knew that in every detail, she could see her mother's full love for her. The wallpaper is pink and tender cherry color, and the corners of the table and cabinet are polished and rounded to prevent Su Zimian from being accidentally injured. The apricot-colored carpet is very thick and soft to step on. The window was open, the breeze was blowing, and the creamy white gauze curtain was rolled up and brushed across the desk, as if I could smell the fragrance of the flowers in the vase on the table. On the petals of the white perfume lily, you can vaguely see dewdrops. It is matched with forget-me-nots. Xia Xian is expressing to her daughter that since you were lost, I have never stopped thinking about you. I am always thinking of finding you back to me. Around. The four-piece bed set is a pink color slightly lighter than the wallpaper. The bedside was filled with all kinds of plush toys, all carefully selected by Xia Xian. There are 2 picture frames on the bedside table, one of which has no photos in it, and the other has a family of 5. Xia Xian picked up the frame with the photo embedded in it and gently brushed her hand. She held Su Zimian beside her, pointed at the people in the photo, and introduced them to Su Zimian one by one. The little girl in the middle smiled brightly and was picked up by Xia Xian and a man. This is a photo of our family when you were 3 years old. Pointing to the man with a slightly serious expression next to him, this is your father, you may not remember him. Your arrival is an accident for me and your father, and it is also a precious gift. Your dad is busy preparing for a new play, and wanted to come with me to pick you up, but he was too distracted, but he'll be back at dinner. He pointed to the left and right sides, a pair of teenagers who looked alike. The teenager on the left made a mischievous, "yeah," and smiled with a small tiger tooth. The young man on the right is stern, pursing his thin lips. These are your brothers. They are 12 years older than you. On the right is your eldest brother Su Jinyu, and on the left is your second brother Su Jinming. Referring to her twin sons, Xia Xian sighed, and said that she was busy with work and lacked the company of the twins. Both of your brothers are going to college and live on campus, and Jin you will only go home on weekends. Ming. He rented a house by himself near the school and came back one day a month at most, but he was very busy. After introducing the family members, Xia Xian scratched Su Zimian's upturned nose and said with a clever smile, "Little Mian, you are the little princess of our Su family, whether it's for me, your father, or both of you. As a brother, you are our most important baby." When Xia Xian was taking Su Zimian to look at the clothes in the closet, there was a faint sound of the door opening, followed by footsteps who couldn't wait to go upstairs, and a man who was slightly more vicissitudes than in the photo ran in. It is Su Zimian's father, Su Cheng, a famous and talented director of Huagua who has won numerous awards. Su Cheng stared intently at the soft and glutinous figure in the room, and it was not until he took his daughter into his arms that he felt that his missing heart was finally filled. With a stubble chin, she swiped across Su Zimian's tender face. Su Zimian laughed itchingly. She hugged Su Cheng back, and called sweetly, "Dad." "Hey!" Su Cheng answered loudly. His eyes were slightly red, and he hugged the lost and found baby daughter even tighter. "Dad's little princess is finally home. Let's go." Su Cheng picked up Su Zimian and walked downstairs. "What would Xiaomian want to eat?" "Tell Dad, Dad will cook for you." Xia Xian wiped away a teardrop that overflowed from her eyes. She hadn't seen such a warm picture for a long time. Her husband has superb cooking skills. After the two are busy with work, he is afraid that he will not cook for nearly 10 years. She hurriedly followed behind the father and daughter, guiding Su Zimian to order dishes. Little Cotton's father, Little Cotton's mother would like to order a fish-flavored shredded pork. Su Cheng readily replied, "No problem, what does Xiao Mian want to eat?" Su Zimian put her small hand on Su Cheng's shoulder, recalling the delicious food in her memory. She couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva, and asked in a low voice, "Dad, can you make glutinous rice ribs?" "Must do it." Su Cheng confidently boasted of his cooking skills to Su Zimian. "Don't say it's glutinous rice ribs, even if it is a full-scale banquet, I will know it." Su Zimian thought that a family like this would definitely have a lot of table manners, but this family banquet, in her opinion, was definitely the warmest meal the 2 generations had ever eaten. The family was talking and laughing, and her knowledgeable father told her various anecdotes, which made her exclaim. The warm and gentle mother at home, who is cold and at home outside, gives her father a coquettish glance from time to time, holds dishes for the father and daughter, and urges the father and daughter to eat quickly, and chat after eating. On the first night back home, Su Zimian slept peacefully in the warm embrace of his parents. In her sleep, she heard the ethereal voice again in a trance, "The grief of separation, the soul has returned. The cotton has returned, and the soul will end." Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 4, Fruitful. With the grief of losing their daughter, Xia Xian and Su Cheng had lingering fears and dared not leave their daughter alone at home again. Su Cheng's tailor-made film, Distant Voices, for Xia Xian is ready to hit the awards at next year's foreign film festivals. Xia Xian is a well-known actress in China, but not many people know her internationally. Holding his fluffy daughter, Su Cheng said firmly, "Take Xiao Mianhua to the studio, and let your assistant Xiao Ke take care of Xiao Mianhua." This. Xia Xian worriedly said, "The film and television city is so crowded, I'm afraid Xiao Mian will get lost." Su Cheng frowned. The film and television city was indeed crowded with people, and little Cotton was so cute, so he couldn't make a mistake and lose his good daughter again. Hearing the words on the set, Su Zimian cheered up, looked at Su Cheng with a fiery look, and shook his father's sleeve with his little hand, and said eagerly, "Dad, I want to follow along." Her dream in the last life was to become a song god, but it was a pity that just after her dream set sail, the ship completely sank to the bottom of the sea. When I saw my favorite novel being made into a TV series, I also fantasized about being able to write songs for it. Now that she has resources at home, she really wants to see how the stories put on the screen are made. Looking at Su Zimian's watery eyes, Su Cheng couldn't bear to refuse at all. He smiled happily, and put his daughter on his arm. "Okay. But if Xiaomian promises her father, she must always follow Xiaomian. Besides Sister Ku, you must never leave the sight of Sister Xiao Ku." Xiao Ku in Su Cheng's words was Xia Xian's assistant. The first time she saw Su Zimian, she was moved by the soft and waxy Su Zimian, and repeatedly assured the two bosses, "Don't worry, I be sure to take care of little Cotton." Although Xiao Ku is not a star, she is Xia Xian's assistant. She looks familiar to most people. As long as she has the ID card of Xia Xian's assistant, it is a solid pass. The young Su Zimian was led around by Xiaoke, and everyone was willing to show goodwill. Moreover, although Su Zimian's body has not been properly conditioned, she was dressed like a cute doll by Xia Xian. She had a sweet mouth and called out to everyone like her brother, sister, uncle, and aunt, which made her even more lovable. The actor Zhou Yehe, who is also the leading actor in this drama, and Xia Xian, asked jokingly, "This little girl is really Aura, is she your sister, Xiaoke? I really want such a well-behaved and obedient sister." Xiaoke smiled happily and introduced him to Emperor Zhou. "This is the little princess of Sister Xia's family, ask me to take care of one or two." Zhou Yehe said, "Oh," but he remembered that there was a media report on this little princess who was born with a golden spoon. However, Xia Xian and Su Cheng were strictly protected. Since then, there has been no news about the little princess. So, this is the first time the little princess of the Su family has made a public appearance. Zhou Yehe got teasing, used a clean toothpick, inserted a sliced apple, and handed it to Su Zimian's mouth, coaxing in a low voice, "Girl, do you want to eat apples?" Su Zimian was not polite, bit the apple in one bite, and politely thanked him, "Thank you, uncle." Watching Su Zimian chewing apples on his cheeks, like a little hamster enjoying a delicious meal, Zhou Yehe laughed happily, took out a handful of colorful chocolates like magic, and stuffed them all into Su Zimian's hands, winked mischievously, "Hide it well, don't let your mother find out." Su Zimian recognized that the chocolates Zhou Yehe had given him were well-known brands in foreign countries. A small box of a dozen chocolates cost more than 600 yuan. My sister Su Chun once got a box from nowhere, showed it off in front of her, and locked it in a drawer very preciously, lest she would steal half of it. Seeing Su Zimian's expression of awe, she did not reject Zhou Yehe's kindness. She clenched her fists and promised, "Don't worry, uncle, I will hide it so that my mother will never find out." Looking at the serious appearance, a revolutionary friendship emerged spontaneously in Zhou Yingdi's body. He made a dull, the actor put on his body, and patted Su Zimian's shoulder with a long way to go. "Little comrade, protect the chocolate. The heavy responsibility is left to you." The surrounding actors with names and surnames were all amused by the interaction between Su Zimian and Zhou Yingdi. Su Zimian, who was brought back by Xiaoke, was full of snacks. Xia Xian, who took the time to familiarize herself with the lines in the nanny car, looked at the various snacks in Su Zimian's arms, smiled and helped her daughter put the snacks on the small table, and rubbed her daughter's fluffy little girl head. "My little girl has gained a lot," Xiaoke said with a smile. "Sister Xia, don't worry, everyone likes Xiao Mian, and they are vying to give snacks to Xiao Mian." They also said that if they knew that Xiao Mian was coming today, they would prepare some small gifts as a greeting. Xia Xian pretended to be jealous. Xiao Mian is so favored, mother must be jealous. Su Zimian got up on the seat and slapped Xia Xian's face. Little cotton likes mom the most. Pfft. Xia Xian couldn't help but laugh out loud. She hugged Su Zimian affectionately and kissed Su Zimian back. Mom likes little cotton the most. The mother and daughter are full of warmth, while Su Cheng is on the verge of an outbreak. It was because Cheng Sini, a young actress who played the heroine when she was a child, didn't want to be ugly and wore dirty clothes that were not too gray. She was crying aggrievedly in her father's arms. Cheng Sini played the heroine in a costume drama when she was a child. She quickly became popular because of her cute appearance and accumulated a lot of fans. Every day, she left messages on Cheng Sini's Weibo, calling her daughter. At a young age, Cheng Sini, under the influence of her parents, has already understood what beauty is. Cheng's father took advantage of his daughter's little reputation, and discussed with Su Cheng stubbornly, "The clothes you prepared have a smell, can't you replace them with clean old clothes?" Su Cheng snorted coldly, "The clothes we prepared are absolutely clean, and it smells bad. It's entirely your own psychological problem." Cheng Sini grabbed her father's sleeve tightly with her little hands, shook her head with a pouting mouth, and said aggrievedly, "Dad. I don't want to wear stinky clothes, I don't want to be ugly." "Good." Father Cheng patted Cheng Sini's back and continued to argue with reason, "The background of your filming is in the countryside, no matter how poor a remote village is, you won't wear stinky and dirty clothes, and you won't take a bath for a few years." "Bar." Su Cheng said irritably, "Since the contract has been signed, you must follow my requirements. I love acting, not acting." Cheng's father did not expect Su Cheng to be so inhumane when facing a 6-year-old girl. Cheng Sini was so frightened by Su Cheng that she shivered and cried, "Dad. I want to go home, I don't want to be ugly." "Woo-hoo-woo. Okay. Father Cheng coaxed Cheng Sini, his eyes flying toward Su Cheng, "We're not acting anymore. Filming is about to start, we'll see where you go to find a suitable young actor." Su Cheng was furious, and the staff who knew Su Cheng's violent temper stayed at their jobs without saying a word. Su Cheng can be said to be picky about movies. In order to achieve the perfection in his heart, he can even tangle in a picture hundreds of times. In Su Cheng's view, the request of the Cheng family's father and daughter is simply unreasonable, and if they change it, they will lose the soul and essence of the heroine's childhood. Seeing that a prairie fire was about to spread, Su Cheng's expression instantly reversed, revealing a gentle smile like a spring breeze. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 5, She is my daughter. It was Xia Xian who got the news and rushed to the scene in time with Su Zimian in her arms. Cheng's father followed Su Cheng's eyes and saw the little girl who was being held in his arms by Xia Yingho, who seemed to be a year younger than his own daughter, and he suddenly sneered, "So Director Su is early, I'm ready to replace my daughter's little actor," and the wording is high-sounding, but in fact, "I just want to drive our father and daughter away." Looking at Su Zimian with sharp eyes and critically, Father Cheng sneered, "She looks so, far less beautiful than my daughter, and she looks good. Want to rely on Director Su's new play to climb to the sky? I think she is." Before Cheng's remarks were finished, he was completely interrupted by Su Zimian's beautiful, "Dad." "Hey." Su Cheng replied with a smile, took his good daughter from his wife's arms, and swept his indifferent eyes to Father Cheng, "Didn't you resign? Why don't you leave now?" Thinking that he was scolding the family's biological daughter in front of Director Su, Father Cheng's cheeks were flushed, and he was so embarrassed that he could use his toes to dig out 3 rooms and 2 halls on the ground, and hurriedly left with his daughter in his arms. Cheng Sini was lying on her father's shoulder, staring at Su Zimian intently, imprinting Su Zimian's face in her mind. Zhou Yehe was also attracted by the quarrel here. He just heard Father Cheng say that Su Zimian was not good-looking. In fact, Su Zimian inherited the advantages of his parents, mainly due to his thin body shape, dry hair, and thin face and thin muscles, which lowered his appearance. Under the careful feeding of Su Cheng and Xia Xian, within a few months, she will be full of beauty and moving. Zhou Yehe took out a lollipop in the shape of a little bear from nowhere, peeled off the candy wrapper, put it into Su Zimian's mouth carefully, and called out like Xiaoka, our little Cotton is obviously smart and cute. When she grows up, she will definitely surpass her mother's beauty. That's right. Zhou Yehe clapped his palms and suggested, Xiao Mianhua is the daughter of Sister Xia, and she looks at least 70% like Sister Xia. Why don't you let Xiao Mianhua play the role of Sister Xia when she was a child in the play? Although Zhou Yehe is an actor, he debuted later than Xia Xian. He is 37 years old this year, so he should call Xia Xian sister. Hearing Zhou Yehe's suggestion, Xia Xian's eyes flashed with dazzling light. She looked at Su Zimian expectantly and asked, do you want to try acting, Xiaomian? Su Cheng was also interested. Thinking of being able to film for his daughter and his beloved wife, his heart was filled with bubbles of happiness, and he coaxed, Little Cotton, filming is very interesting, do you want to give it a try? Dad will make Xiao Mian good. Beautiful. Are you filming? Su Zimian wasn't really a 6-year-old child. The two lives together made him 20 years old. If she was asked to sing, she would agree without hesitation. But acting? She has never acted and has not undergone special training, is she really competent? Su Zimian couldn't help but fall into self-doubt. Seeing the hesitation in Su Zimian's eyes, Su Cheng coaxed again and again, with my father and mother here, Xiaomian will definitely be fine. His mouth deflated, Xiaomian bears the heart that his father can't find the actor who played the heroine when he was a child, do we have to postpone the show? Su Zimian gritted his teeth and nodded, then let me try. Su Cheng, who succeeded, slapped Xia Xian with his eyes in celebration. Due to Cheng Sini's resignation, Su Cheng had to change the set scene. Under Su Cheng's orderly command, all the staff began to get busy. Su Zimian was taken back to the nanny car by Xia Xian, leaning against Xia Xian Shangxiang's arms, listening to Xia Xian roughly tell her the story of the drama, Distant Voice. Coincidence or not, Su Zimian always feels that Yin Yao, the heroine of this drama, has many similarities with her experience. Both of them were lucky. She found her doting parents, but Yin Yao used her actions to influence the people around her and slowly integrate into the family. The heroine Yin Yao was originally a child of a rich family, but was taken to a poor family by mistake. Under the deep-rooted thought of her grandmother's preference for sons and daughters, Yin Yao has been unpopular since birth. At the age of 6, her thin body carried most of the housework. In such a family, Yin Yao never complained. She used her kindness and her tenderness to constantly influence her family. Including the stubborn grandmother, the exhausted mother, the industrious but obedient father, and the elder brother who has been ignoring him. Yin Yao's elder brother, Yin Yuan, is very smart. Getting full marks in every exam is the hope of the family. Accidentally, he found out that his sister had no blood relationship with him at all, which gave birth to his love for Yin Yao, which was the love between men and women. When Yin Yuan's love for Yin Yao was about to get out of control, Yin Yuan, who was working outside, resisted going home. Looking at her increasingly haggard grandmother, Yin Yao resolutely set foot on the big city alone to find Yin Yuan's journey. After this search, they met their biological parents, who never gave up looking for their real daughter. On the one hand are the biological parents who never gave up on him, and on the other are the adoptive parents who treat him very well after the change. And his brother Yin Yuan's full of love for him made Yin Yao overwhelmed. Distant Voice tells a story about love and family. Su Zimian, who was digesting the plot, was taken to the filming set by Xia Xian to watch the first scene that Xia Xian and Zhou Yingdi were about to shoot. At this time, a little boy who was carved in pink and jade came to Su Zimian's side. He raised his chin and said very stinkingly, "Hey! Are you the little actor who played against me when Yin Yao was a child?" Su Zimian looked around in search of prestige. It was a handsome boy with clear facial features and bright eyes. He was about 8 or 9 years old. Su Zimian doesn't know the little boy in front of him. The boy's name is Pei Yan. He debuted 2 years ago. Because of his superb acting skills at a young age, coupled with his handsome appearance, he has become a well-known child star, known as the son of the nation. Everyone is looking forward to Pei Yan's growth, from a young man to a big man. In addition to his relished acting skills, Pei Yan's rapid popularity is also inseparable from his grandmother. His grandmother was the head of the Jade Maiden 40 years ago, but unfortunately, due to physical reasons, she retired early and withdrew from the entertainment industry. Pei Yan was influenced by his grandmother and determined his dream very early to become a good actor who surpassed his grandmother. Su Zimian smiled politely at Pei Yan. "Hello little brother, my name is Su Zimian." Blinded by Su Zimian's pure and flawless smile, she clearly shouted in her heart that she was cute, but Pei Yan insisted on her stinky image and snorted coldly, "The image is still in line with Yin Yao. My name is Pei Yan, and I will be with you. During the play, don't drag me down, you know." Su Zimian lowered his head and said dejectedly, "Oh. This new little brother doesn't seem to be easy to get along with." Pei Yan resisted the urge to stroke Su Zimian's fluffy hair. "She looks so much like the dog at home." The stinky child finally threw a sentence, "It's good to know." He walked towards the lounge with his assistant. The depressed Su Zimian raised her head and asked Xiaoke, "Sister Xiaoke, does that little brother dislike me?" Xiaoke, who has seen everything, said clearly, "Don't worry, Xiao Mian, no one can reject you. You have to trust my intuition, that little brother not only doesn't hate you, but maybe his first impression of you is quite good." Su Zimian tilted her head and blinked her eyes. "Is it really like what Xiaoke said?" "Xiaoke said it was right to believe me. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 6, First time filming. This is Su Zimian's first time watching people filming at close range. In addition to being nervous, she is more excited. Shui Lingling's eyes are focused on her mother. With action. Zhou Yehe restrained the laughter on his face, his expression changed, and he freely switched to a cynical demeanor. From this moment on, he was Yin Yuan, the one who knew that his sister was not related by blood and had a deep crush on Yin Yao. Yin Yuan, who returned from the big city to a remote village, handed the bag to his sister Yin Yao in a pleasing voice, and said cheerfully, "Io, see if you like it." Yin Yao randomly wiped the water droplets off her hands with a rag. She took the bag handed over by her brother with a simple and sweet smile, opened it, and found a beautiful dress in the bag. She shook off the apricot dress with a bit of restraint. The fabric was as thin as a cloud. As soon as her hand touched it, she shrank back. She had never seen such a dress before. Noticing Yin Yao's twinkling eyes, Yin Yuan became more and more nervous. This was the first time he had given a decent present to his beloved girl. His earlobes were slightly red, and he asked carefully, "Io, try to see if it fits." "I like it. It's like the sweet-scented osmanthus blooming in front of the gate in August." Yin Yao nodded vigorously, and asked hesitantly, Is it really suitable for me?" "Suitable," Yin Yuan said as he pushed Yin Yao into the room, "Go and change it for brother to see." Yin Yuan waited slightly anxiously outside the door, looking sideways at the closed door from time to time. Seeing that his sister had not come out after 10 minutes, he raised his voice worriedly, "Io, haven't you changed yet? Does it fit? It's going to be a while." Yin Yao had already changed into her dress, and she was standing in front of the mirror at a loss, looking at herself wearing a fluffy skirt in the mirror. "Is this really me?" As if in a dream, the more you see it, the more it looks different. Yin Yao lifted the corner of her skirt and turned around happily. Watching the fluttering skirt spread out like petals in the mirror, she smiled like a fool. After Yin Yuan urged again, the door slowly opened. Looking at Yin Yao who put on the dress he bought and smiled brightly at him, Yin Yuan was completely stunned. Apart from his pounding heart, he could no longer hear any sound in his ears. He felt that the smile on Yin Yao's face was the most beautiful existence in the world, even more beautiful than the blooming osmanthus in front of the door. Cut. After nearly 10 seconds, applause sounded one after another, and people slowly walked out of the mood. This is the strength of the actress Xia Xian and the actor Zhou Yehe. However, in the simple dialogue, relying on the vivid demeanor, everyone is drawn into the scene, and the bitter love of Yin Yuan and the ignorance and simplicity of Yin Yao are immersed in the scene. Perfect show. Su Zimian, who was fascinated, didn't notice Pei Yan's arrival at all. He didn't see Pei Yan sitting beside him until he heard his voice, and his relaxed body straightened instantly. There was a dazzling light in Pei Yan's eyes, but he couldn't get a response from Su Zimian. Pei Yan was stunned for a few seconds, turned his face back hastily, and hummed proudly with his arms around his arms, "Have you learned something after watching such a perfect performance?" Su Zimian nodded as if he didn't understand, and said with a smile, "Mom and Uncle Zhou are both amazing." "Huh? Mom?" Pei Yan turned his head back sharply, looked at Su Zimian's face seriously, then looked at Xia Xian in the distance, and suddenly said, "Are you the daughter of Queen Xiaoying?" Su Zimian said, "Huh," suspiciously, "Brother, don't you know?" "Brother, brother. It's not that I've never been called brother, but from the mouth of the little girl in front of me, Pei Yan always thinks it sounds very nice." He thought of Yin Yao and Yin Yuan in the play. If he also had such a sister, he wouldn't be able to help but spoil her. Realizing what he was thinking about, Pei Yan shook his head and pretended to be angry and said, "How could I know? No one has told me." "Humph, since you are Empress Xia Ying's daughter, you must have inherited Empress Xia Ying's inheritance. Acting, I look forward to acting with you even more." "Oh." Su Zimian drooped her head, "Then your expectations should be a little less." "Okay." Seeing Pei Yan's approaching face, Su Zimian hurriedly shook his head and waved his hand, and said with a smirk, then look forward to it." When it was Su Zimian's turn to play, Su Zimian's small body was trembling uncontrollably, her limbs were numb and soft, shaking uncontrollably. Her mind went blank, silently reciting lines that she herself could not understand. The role of Yin Yao's grandmother is an old drama bone. She squatted down and held Su Zimian's stiff little hand, and asked kindly, "Your name is Xiaomian, right?" Su Zimian, who recovered, nodded. She recognized this old actor and often saw her on the TV broadcast on CCTV, and politely called out, "Hello, Grandma Zhang." "Hey," Su Zimian's sweet voice called out with joy, "Good boy, Grandma likes little cotton." Su Cheng and Xia Xian were more nervous than Su Zimian. Their little princess had only been found for 2 days, and she had never been exposed to acting. It was conceivable that her daughter was under a lot of pressure with her thin body. Xia Xian was worried that too much pressure would crush her daughter. Su Cheng patted Xia Xian's back soothingly, "Wife, I believe in our little cotton. I wonder if it's a coincidence, don't you think the first half of the scene is very similar to what happened to Xiao Cotton? Maybe this is also an opportunity, let little cotton get out of the shadows as soon as possible and start a new life." "Yeah." Xia Xian took a deep breath. Although her little Mianhua was always smiling, the sadness in her eyes occasionally made her heart ache every time she caught it. She showed a smile, "Little Mianhua is my daughter." Under the expectation of many people, Su Zimian's first scene was ushered in. Su Zimian slowly calmed her heartbeat, until she heard the voice of action. She began to panic, she was completely at a loss, and she asked in a loop in her head who she was, where was she, and what was she going to do. Aware of Su Zimian's rapid breathing, Grandma Zhang, who was lying on the rocking chair, immediately jumped into the play and shouted, "Yao and I, what are you doing standing still? Is lunch ready? Are the clothes washed? If you don't finish it, you will be hungry at noon." Listening to Grandma Zhang's words, Su Zimian returned to that remote small village in a trance. Grandma also urged her to work every day. At that time, she had just been reborn and was forced by her grandmother to do all kinds of housework. Before 5 o'clock to get up to make breakfast, after finishing the daily work, the time will come to 1 o'clock in the morning. Lying on the cold ground, unable to sleep for a few hours, and getting up again to start a busy day. If you cook poorly, you will be beaten, if you work too slowly, you will be beaten. As long as Grandma thinks she has made a mistake, she will be beaten. There is no music around her, and life is so bleak, there is no hope for her. The arrival of Xia Xian is like a beam of light, illuminating her gloomy life. Mother's warm big hand, holding her cold little hand, brought her into another splendid life. Thinking of the Su Zimian in those days, she was no longer Su Zimian. She was not so much Su Mian, but Xiao Yinyao, who was full of hope. Seeing the brilliance in Su Zimian's eyes, Xia Xian and Su Cheng's hearts slowly returned to their original positions. Their daughter is the brightest star in the field at this time, attracting everyone's attention. Sweet and soft girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 7, Daughter was scolded. Su Zimian, who completely replaced herself in Xiao Yinyao, put her head out of the window mischievously. With a smile in her eyes, she looked at the grandma who was relaxing in the courtyard and basking in the sun. "Grandma, the food is ready soon. Now, there is your favorite tomato scrambled eggs." The bright sun shines on the windowsill, and the few drops of crystal sweat on the granddaughter's forehead are so dazzling under the sunlight. The granddaughter's bright smile, like a breeze, unknowingly blew away the heat in Grandma's heart. Grandma coughed twice and said loudly, "Where's the clothes? Have you washed the clothes?" "The young Yin Yao is a good and diligent child," she replied. "Grandma, I have already washed my clothes." Grandma gave a cold, waved her fan leisurely, and set up a new job for her granddaughter. "When you're done cooking, quickly pack a copy to send to your father, and by the way, come back with a bucket of water and have lunch. Anyone who has worked hard all morning, can't even eat a hot meal, and has to go to a new job, will definitely complain." By the time she came back from the water, the food was already cold. But Yin Yao didn't complain. The smile on his face was still bright and dazzling, and he answered briskly, "Grandma, I know." Cut. With the sound of hitting the board, Su Qing gave Su Zimian a thumbs up and praised, "This is over." Considering that her daughter was still young and it was her first acting time, after discussing it with teacher Zhang, Su Qingxuan's scene was not difficult, and it was considered to let her daughter feel the atmosphere of filming firsthand. But her daughter's outstanding performance completely exceeded Su Cheng's expectations, perfectly showing Xiao Yinyao's inner optimism. Hearing what Dad said, Su Zimian's body softened, all of his strength was pulled from his body, and he slumped on the ground. Little Cotton. Seeing Su Zimian sitting on the ground, Su Cheng, who loves her daughter eagerly, thought that her daughter was injured, so she hurriedly ran over and picked her up. Xia Xian, teacher Zhang, as well as many actors on the set, all flocked to the scene. "Your words and my words are all concerned about Xiao Mian's body. Little Cotton, tell Dad, what's wrong?" Su Zimian blushed, shyly buried her face on her father's broad shoulders, and said in a soft voice, "Dad, I was just too nervous for the first time I was filming, and when I heard the end, I bulged. All the power is gone." Pfft. Knowing that Su Zimian was just too nervous to sit on the ground, everyone couldn't help but let out friendly laughter. Xia Xian fondly touched her daughter's fluffy little head, and poked her daughter's forehead lightly. I almost scared my mother to death." Su Zimian stuck out her pink tongue, spread her arms toward Xia Xian, and said softly, "Mom hug." Taking her daughter from her husband, Xia Xian said apologetically to the surrounding staff, "Thank you for caring about Little Cotton." Su Zimian also knew the panic caused by this slump, and then apologized, "Thank you brothers and sisters for your concern." Noticing that Xiaoke waved to her in a panic, Xia Xian frowned slightly, walked over quickly, and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" Xiaoke hurriedly handed the phone to Xia Xian, "Sister Xian, come and see, your family of 3 has been scolded on the hot search." Hearing the word Little Cotton, Xia Xian frowned, put her daughter on the car seat, took the phone, and clicked on the popular Weibo. The title of the third hot search was, #Wei holds her daughter, bullying people #Cindy's father haha. Relying on his own reputation, a director insisted on giving his daughter the role that originally belonged to Xiao Cindy, regardless of the signed contract. If you want to hold your own daughter, don't take out the role. Picture 1, Picture 2, Picture 3. Photo 1 shows Cheng Cindy burying her face on Cheng's father's shoulder, and she can vaguely see half of her eyes, which are as red as a pitiful little white rabbit. Photo 2 shows Cheng Cindy crying bitterly. She almost burst into tears, but she stretched out her hand to cover the camera, as if she was telling her fans that she is crying ugly now, don't look at her. Picture 3 is very blurry, apparently it was taken by Cheng's father secretly with his mobile phone. It was the back of a little girl about the same height as Cheng Cindy, surrounded by everyone in the center. The third picture is in stark contrast with the first 2 pictures. Cheng's father doesn't say much in the text, but uses 3 simple pictures to describe the grievances Cheng Cindy suffered. Other daughters, occupying their own father as the director, can get the treatment of the stars and the moon. Her own daughter, because she has an ordinary father, has to give up the role that should belong to her. It can be said that I feel pity, aroused the anger of Cheng Sini's fans, and pointed the finger at the little girl in the third picture, that is, Su Zimian. Although Cheng's father did not name the director, the netizens now have a lot of insight. With the help of a few stars who can see their faces clearly in the picture, combined with a Weibo posted by Cheng's father some time ago, they immediately figured out an equation: a guide equals Su Cheng. Knowing that a certain director is equal to Su Cheng, Cheng Sini's fans exploded instantly, bombarding Su Cheng in various ways, naming Xia Xian, and cursing Su Zimian. I guessed it was director Su. I admit that he was very talented in the past, but in recent years, does he have any works that he can do well? I think it's Jiang Lang's talent. Fuck. With all due respect, Queen Xia looks so beautiful, her daughter seems to be a little ugly, but our Cini daughter is cute. If your daughter doesn't cry, you will meet a better character. Dare to make my daughter Cini cry, the Su Cheng family will die. I heard that it is a literary film. I have no interest in literary films. I originally played it for my daughter, and I wanted to watch it. Now it's alright, save money. Huh, Xia Xian is used to bullying people, and she often bullies young actresses. It's okay to bully adults, but I'm really embarrassed to bully a 6-year-old girl. The more she looked down, the worse Xia Xian's face became, her fingertips turned white and she clasped the phone case. Cheng Sini's father and daughter were clearly the fault of their resignation, but Cheng's father picked himself and Cheng Sini cleanly, and left all the faults to their family. In just an hour of posting, the popularity climbed to the 3rd place, obviously buying a hot search. Pretend to be pitiful and innocent, but behind the scenes it is one set after another. Refresh, 3 minutes ago, my father posted a new Weibo. Cini Dad V, thank you fans for your support. Thank you Director Lu for the opportunity. Our little Cini is about to star in Director Lu's new drama. As for what to play, fans are welcome to wait and see. With picture. The accompanying picture is a rainbow. After the storm, you will always see a rainbow. Director Lu she immediately forwarded and wrote to Cini's father, expressing a pleasant cooperation. Different from the hostile message of the previous Weibo fans, the comments immediately following this Weibo are all blessings. Congratulations to Cini's daughter, and thanks to Director Lu for giving us the opportunity to baby Cini. Director Lu is good at commercial films, and the story must be interesting. I'm already looking forward to seeing my beautiful daughter on the screen. It's still Director Lu who has eyesight, unlike a director who is short-sighted. You should regret going to a director. Our precious daughter is disdainful of acting in your little drama. Cini's daughter is very good in Director Lu's crew. At least Director Lu's crew won't have so many bully ghosts and snakes. I mean an old woman. Cheng's father's 2 Weibo posts, one after the other, instantly magnified the conflict between Cheng Sini and Su Zimian to the extreme, and there was a strong smell of gunpowder everywhere. As long as Su Zimian's final performance is not satisfactory, he will be whipped to the bottom, and his acting career at the beginning may be on the verge of breaking. The wickedness of his intentions is obvious at a glance. If you don't use my daughter, I will destroy your daughter. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 8, Unexpected Surprise. One more look, the anger burning in Xia Xian's heart increased. What a stepping on one and holding one and one distorting the facts. Cheng Sini's father really thinks they are steamed buns and won't fight back. Xiaoka asked nervously, Sister Xian, do you want to put down the heat immediately? She worried that letting Father Cheng hype it would cause more harm to Xia Xian's family, especially Xiao Mian. Xia Xian sneered and asked, why do you want to press it down? Give me a smash. I want them to jump for a few more hours. The higher the jump, the worse the fall. Dare to push their baby girl to the forefront, then don't blame her ruthlessness. Under the protection of Xia Xian, Su Zimian had no chance to see the content on Weibo. But from the conversation between her mother and sister Xiaoka, Su Zimian can also guess one or two. She blinked and tugged at Xia Xian's clothes worriedly. Mom, are you and Dad scolded because of me? Xia Xian placed a kiss on Su Zimian's tender cheek and comforted, it's not Xiao Mian's fault. Xiao Mian don't have to worry, Mom will solve it soon. What Xiao Mian wants to do is to be happy and have no worries. Grow up carefree. Su Zimian wanted to share her parents' worries, but she knew that with her current ability, she couldn't do anything at all. The only thing she can do is to play the afternoon scene well. In order to perform well in the afternoon play, Su Zimian pestered Xia Xian to ask questions, absorbing more knowledge like a sponge. She tried to put herself into Xiao Yinyao's world, thinking about how she would look if she was really Xiao Yinyao. Xia Xian saw Su Zimian's changes. The harder her daughter worked, the more heartbroken Xia Xian felt. Losing her 2 years of experience made Nan too obedient. Xia Xian hopes that Xiao Mianhua can act like a spoiled child, but she also knows that she can't be in a hurry. What she has to do is to patiently guard her daughter, love her, pet her, and take care of her as much as possible. In the afternoon scene, Su Zimian wanted to play with Pei Yan. Xiao Yinyao in this scene has gradually been recognized by his family and gradually integrated into this family. The difficulty of this scene is that Xiao Yinyao fell off the mountain and broke his leg once while delivering food to his father. Su Zimian needed to actually act like he was lame. Xia Xian was very worried that her daughter who had not taken acting courses would have difficulty grasping the strength of her lame leg. After finishing her makeup, Su Zimian smiled sweetly at Xia Xian, "Don't worry, Mom, I know what a lame leg looks like." Xia Xian's heart trembled, thinking of the pitiful appearance of her daughter kneeling on the bricks when she first saw Xiao Mianhua, and the broom held by the old lady. Seeing her daughter's calm smile now, Xia Xian couldn't imagine how many times Xiao Mianhua was beaten before she got used to being beaten. Being beaten to the point where his legs are broken and his hands are broken may be a common occurrence for Xiao Mian. On the other side, Pei Yan, who was putting on makeup and getting ready, raised his eyebrows at Su Zimian, as if to say, "Do well, I'll wait and see." It fell into Su Zimian's eyes, thinking that Pei Yan was encouraging him. She clenched her little pink fist and cheered each other, "We encourage each other." Action. Hearing the sound of the beginning, Su Zimian, who was in the limelight, slowly exhaled a turbid breath. He took a step forward with a lame leg and looked at his grandmother and mother who were busy making dinner in the house. From time to time, there were a few sounds of their chatting. Xiao Yinyao was a little confused. She knew that her grandmother and mother cared about her and wanted her to rest after her broken leg. But Xiao Yinyao has long been used to a fulfilling life, and suddenly asked her to play, she couldn't think of what to do for a while. People outside the venue noticed the change in Su Zimian's expression. Dazed from being called out from the beginning, at a loss as to what to do in the next time to pass the time. Later, the sadness in her eyes must be sad, and she blames herself for being injured and cannot help her family better. The change in Su Zimian's expression was so natural. One last look at the grandmother and mother inside the house, Xiao Yinyao limped outside the house. The little nose moved slightly, and the breeze blew past Xiao Yinyao's hair. The wind stopped, and Xiao Yinyao, who was looking at him, had a splendid light in his eyes. She saw a field of flowers blooming with small yellow wild flowers, delicate flowers, trembling in the wind, exuding a faint floral fragrance. As soon as the picture turned, it was Su Zimian, who was sitting among wild flowers, weaving a wreath. She didn't notice that her expression became more and more relaxed, she was enjoying the scene. Maybe the breeze blowing by is too gentle, maybe the scent of flowers is too pure, or maybe the current life is too peaceful. Su Zimian, who was happily weaving a wreath, suddenly felt emotional and hummed an unknown melody unconsciously. The assistant director was about to get up to remind him that Su Cheng raised his hand, and the blocked assistant scratched the back of his head and sat back again. With surprise flashing in Su Cheng's eyes, he hurriedly signaled to his assistant to pick up the song Xiao Mianhua was humming. He found out that his daughter was probably a genius born for this. The simple humming is so melodious, without any accompaniment modification, showing the purest and beautiful singing voice of little Cotton, with a bit of immaturity belonging to a child. The studio suddenly became silent, everyone held their breath subconsciously, immersed in it, and the whole world was only left with the sound of the sounds of nature circling upwards. Pei Yan stared blankly at Su Zimian who was sitting among the flowers. Her smile was so soft and her singing voice was so beautiful. In a trance, he thought he had met a deep-sea siren and whispered in his ear. Dao Lai belongs to the story of Xiao Yinyao and Xiao Yinyuan. Under the leadership of the singing, the two people at this moment are Xiao Yinyao and Xiao Yinyuan. Xiao Yinyuan, who had come to his senses, had walked over to Xiao Yinyao and sat down. He looked at his sister intently and asked in a low voice, "What song are you humming?" The singing stopped, and everyone felt a feeling of reluctance in their hearts. They wanted to continue listening, and at the same time, it also pulled them back into the plot again. Su Qing didn't stop. He let Pei Yan and Su Zimian play the scene freely, expecting them to bring him more surprises. Seeing that it was Xiao Yinyuan, Xiao Yinyao sweetly called out, "Brother." A touch of pink rose to her cheeks. She shyly told her brother, "I don't know what song it is, I just hummed it casually." Xiao Yinyao rubbed the newly woven wreath in his hands, blinked his eyes, put the wreath on Xiao Yinyuan's head mischievously while his brother was not paying attention, and immediately turned and ran away. Xiao Yinyuan, who was half a beat slower, took off the thing on his head and saw that it was a garland. He is a big boy, wearing a garland, isn't it a motherfucker? Xiao Yinyuan got up and went after Xiao Yinyao, calling while chasing, "Okay you little girl, stop for me." Xiao Yinyao, who turned around and made a face, was already lame, and stumbled on a small stone. With a soft, "yeah" sound, she just fell into her brother's arms. Looking at Xiao Yinyao smiling in his arms, Xiao Yinyuan suddenly felt that his sister was actually very cute. He put the wreath back on his sister's head, and after helping her stand firm, he bent his knees and squatted down. "Come here, brother will carry you home." Xiao Yinyao likes the word, "go home," which warms her heart. She threw herself on her brother's back and wrapped her arms around his neck obediently. Xiao Yinyao, who was carried by Xiao Yinyuan to go home, cocked her feet happily, and hummed the unknown song again unconsciously. It was not until the sound of "cut" that the people present came to their senses slowly, and clapped their hands sincerely. If the scene between Xia and Queen and Zhou Yingdi in the morning showed them how exquisite their acting skills are, then the scene of Su Zimian and Pei Yan in the afternoon allowed them to see what untouched nature is. These are two slowly rising stars. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 9, Who is she? After withdrawing from the role of Xiao Yinyuan, Pei Yan realized that he was actually bewitched by Su Zimian's singing, and was brought into the play by a newcomer who had never been exposed to acting. Pei Yan was very unwilling, but had to admit that Su Zimian performed too well. When he learned that Su Zimian was the daughter of the actress Xia Xian, he underestimated Su Zimian. But after playing with Su Zimian in person, he began to recognize Su Zimian as his opponent. He squatted down carefully and let Su Zimian get off his back. He clearly wanted to praise Su Zimian, but when the words came out of his mouth, he awkwardly changed to, "Well, the acting is quite a so-so, as expected of an opponent I like." With Pei Yan's approval, Su Zimian patted her little chest, exhaled, and was happy that she didn't hold back. "Brother did a good job, I still want to play with my brother." Pei Yan's heart trembled, turned his head away, raised his hand to touch Su Zimian's hair, and hummed, "Who knows which brother you are calling?" Su Zimian rolled his eyes, and cleverly changed his voice and called, "It's Brother Ian." Pei Yan stroking Su Zimian's hair froze for 2 seconds, he suddenly retracted his hand, coughed twice to ease his embarrassment, and flicked Su Zimian's forehead lightly with his fingers. "Humph. Don't be complacent, think you're still a long way from keeping up with me." While Pei Yan and Su Zimian were playing around, the assistant holding a mobile phone in the small corner was playing a video and kept laughing. He peeked at his boss Su Qing, gritted his teeth, cut out the most essential part, and uploaded it to his Weibo. Hearing the boss calling his name, the assistant hurriedly put away the phone and trotted over. He thought that his Weibo only had less than 1,000 followers, so not many people would see it, right? As everyone knows, a searching storm is about to blow. It was Ming Ani who first noticed this video. He is a poverty alleviation volunteer. He often posts the heartwarming stories he encountered during his poverty alleviation journey to Weibo, so that more people can see it, and he is willing to lend a helping hand to those in need. Ming Ani accidentally swiped the Weibo posted by his assistant, and the video in less than 10 seconds allowed him to see a simple girl with a pure and flawless heart. The girl sitting among the wildflowers was wearing shabby clothes, with patches, cuffs and trousers cut across the board, clearly cut from clothes that older children couldn't wear. Not far from the girl was a tile-roofed house with smoke from cooking. He could vaguely see the surrounding mountains, and Ming Ani guessed that this might be a small remote village. Seeing the smile on the little girl's face and listening to the sweet melody humming from the little girl's mouth, Ming Ani immediately reposted this Weibo. She must be an elf in the mountains, right? Does the little girl in the video have any trouble? Willing to do my best. Ming Ani was worried that the person who posted this Weibo would not be able to see his repost, so he tapped the keyboard and chatted with the blogger privately. Hello, I am a poverty alleviation volunteer, and I accidentally saw the video you posted. Want to ask the girl in the video, is she in trouble? I'm willing to do everything I can to fund the little girl in the video. Looking forward to the blogger's reply. Ming Ani is a Weibo V with more than 2 million followers. As soon as he forwarded it, thousands of people noticed it. They clicked on the video, and the video was less than 10 seconds long. After watching it over and over again, they found the publisher's Weibo and left comments below. Hello, blogger, does the little girl in the video need funding? And me. My roommates and I all want to help the little girl. We have a lot of clothes that we can't wear. They are brand new, and most of them are not worn. If the blogger sees it, can you privately message me an address? In addition to the student party with limited personal ability, there are many rich people who pay attention to Ming and Yi, and they also leave messages one after another, wanting to dedicate their love. Ming Da is right. Looking at the girl in the video, in a trance, I thought I saw an elves living in the mountains. Hello blogger, I want to help the little girl to complete her studies. There are also people who are attracted to the melody hummed by the little girl in the video. Is there anyone who is as attracted to a girl's singing as I am? I have used several apps to identify songs, but unfortunately the identified songs don't sound like the ones hummed by girls. I want to ask, does anyone know what song is the girl humming? Please ask for the name of the song. There is there. I am completely immersed in the girl's singing. I also want to ask for a song title. I want to download it and listen to it 100 times a day. I'm an insomniac. I just played the video on a loop and listened to the song. Before I knew it, I became sleepy. I really want the title of the song, even if it's paid. I just hope this song can help me fall asleep. Su Cheng's assistant didn't even know that the video he posted on Weibo had reached 50,000 in just half an hour, and it was still rising at an alarming rate. Under the forwarding of the song Seeker, gradually some people engaged in music discovered this song. Her name is Wen Yuan. She has composed music for many kings and queens, and created many well-known songs. Forgive her as a musician. Before realizing the plight of the girl in the video, the first thing that attracted her was the melody the girl hummed. She quickly tried to restore the track of the song, and soon found that the track of the song was brand new. In other words, this melody is exclusively for girls. Years of experience in the industry told Wen Yuan that as long as this song can be carefully polished and sculpted, it will definitely become a smash hit song. You might even win a music award. Wen Yuan tapped the keyboard excitedly and forwarded this Weibo. Composer Wen Yuan V, hello blogger, I take the liberty to visit, and I am very annoying. I'm a composer, maybe you don't know my name, I've written songs like Lonely in Snow, Love, Pounding Heart, and so on. My heart skips a beat when I hear the girl humming the melody. I would like to ask you, are you willing to give me the right to arrange this melody? I promise you that I will keep the original melody as much as possible so that more people can hear this song. With Wen Yuan's repost, the popularity of this Weibo has been rising. There were even singers who forwarded it and asked Wen Yuan if he could sing the song if he really got the melody. In just 2 hours, the Weibo posted by the assistant became the second most popular, and the Weibo posted by Cheng Sini's father was stabilized. People launched a fiery search for her. When the assistant was done, when he turned on the phone again, he was surprised to find a 99+ message prompt. With trembling hands, he opened it, looking at the number of fans who had risen to 60,000, nearly 1 million retweets, and more than 100,000 comments, and the whole person was stunned in place. Swipe the phone screen and browse the comments of netizens. The assistant staggered and swayed slightly. He glanced sideways at his own boss who had turned into a fire-breathing dragon, and hated to teach a newcomer actor. I was so nervous that I swallowed a mouthful of saliva. If the boss saw that there were thousands of people on the internet vying to adopt Xiao Mian, I was afraid that they would immediately kill him with a knife. Sweet and Soft Girl is 6 years old, the whole people are addicted to raising daughters. Chapter 10, Horn of Counterattack. The popularity of this Weibo was so hot that Su Qing finally saw it. He said to the rookie actor, "You can think about the mood of the character again, we will take a 20-minute break and resume shooting." After that, he waved to the assistant, blowing his beard and staring, "Come here for me." The assistant trotted over quickly, with a pleasing smile on his face, and admitted his mistake without hesitation. "Boss, I was wrong, I shouldn't have posted Xiao Mian's video on the internet without your permission." The quickness of admitting mistakes, the sincerity of the attitude. The assistant thought that he could not escape the scolding, but the boss just said, "It's a good shot, but it's not an example." The assistant wanted to continue to make amends and said that he would delete the video, but unexpectedly, he shook his body in surprise and swallowed the unspoken words. He rubbed his eyes, and he really saw it right. When the boss turned around, there was clearly a smile on his face. The assistant who escaped the disaster took out his mobile phone with lingering fears, edited a new Weibo, and clicked send. "Struggle more, thank you for your concern for the girls in the video. I didn't expect the video I posted casually to be so popular. Also, please rest assured, the girl in the video is doing very well, she is my boss's baby girl. P.S. The Nan Nan at the boss's house is really cute and super soft. Too many people are paying attention to the follow-up of the girl in the video." The assistant's Weibo has just been released, and the number of comments has skyrocketed. "I'm relieved to know that the girl in the video is not in trouble. To be honest, such a cute little girl, I can't bear to see her starving. I just want to ask now, blogger, can you help me ask your boss, does he mind if his daughter has multiple mothers? Doghead, JPG. Or mind multiple dads? I want to be a little girl's dad, really. I'm different. I only hate my unborn king now. Now that I'm rejuvenated, is there still a chance to pursue your boss's Nan Nan?" Seeing this comment, the assistant hurriedly tapped the keyboard and replied, "Brother, believe me and delete it quickly. If my boss sees it, he will carry a knife and crawl along the network cable to find you." The netizen continued to reply mischievously, "That would be great. I have to quickly think about which outfit to wear. When we meet for the first time, I must make a good impression on my husband." There are also many mother fans trying their best to sell their sons. "The blogger helps me ask my baby girl, my son has a house, a car, and a good cooking skill. Is there any hope of marrying him back home? By the way, my son is 10 years old this year, and he has a small tender meat, not the delusional old bacon above. Does my baby care about the love between siblings? My son is still in my belly, and it will take 4 months to land. I will teach him how to love his wife from a young age. Blogger, I have bad news for you, look back at our boss. He has seen your new Weibo post, and is currently watching you with a deathly gaze. I boldly guess that he is thinking about what kind of torture to use. Dispose of you. Bloggers don't have to thank me, I'm just an unknown colleague who shares your ups and downs." Shaoli, who couldn't laugh or cry, shivered and put away his mobile phone. He had a strong premonition that in the next time, he would be called into a spinning top by the boss, and he was too busy to stop for a moment. Su Zimian, who was resting in Xia Xian's nanny's car, happily played with Xiaoka's sister Xiaoka. While sister Xiaoka and her mother got out of the car to chat, she secretly opened Weibo, and following the popularity, she saw these 2 messages. She first opened the Weibo posted by Cheng Sini's father, and pouted in anger after reading it. If it wasn't for Cheng Sini's dislike of this, in which round would she get her temporary battle? She wore the clothes, just to make the vision more realistic, and stained the old clothes with some dirt. There is no odor at all, but the fragrance of washing powder is exuded. She also painted the makeup, which is not ugly at all, but highlights the simplicity and flawlessness of country girls. Everything Cheng Sini's father said was to slander their family. Angrily, Su Zimian quickly tapped the keyboard with her small hand, and was about to send it when she suddenly remembered that this was Sister Xiaoka's phone, and she was only a 6-year-old child, and silently deleted all the words. Su Zimian clicked on the more popular Weibo, and was surprised to find that the little girl in the video turned out to be herself. Flicking through the comment areas of the two Weibo, Su Zimian's little face became more and more red. She raised her head suddenly, looked at herself reflected in the glass window, reached out and poked her cheek. Wondering if you are really as cute as the comments section says. She is so cute that many people want to recognize her as their daughter. Noticing that her mother was walking towards the nanny car, Su Zimian hurriedly closed Weibo and switched the screen to Happy Xiaoxiol, and the cheerful music played again. Xia Xian sat beside Su Zimian and gently embraced Su Zimian in her arms. After finally getting her daughter back, she has been in the entertainment industry for more than 20 years, and she is very aware of the complexity of the entertainment industry. After a chat with Xiao Ku, Xia Xian came out of the dead corner of her thinking. Instead of covering up her daughter to arouse people's curiosity, she used various means to find out the slightest bit of information about her. It is better to introduce her daughter generously, this is a more correct way of protection. After all, being born in a family like theirs cannot escape the attention of the entertainment media. Xia Xian, who had made up her mind, hugged Su Zimian apologetically, placed kisses one by one on her daughter's forehead, slightly pulled away from each other, and looked directly into her daughter's eyes. "Nong, you are afraid of being watched at any time. Are you on?" Su Zimian understood instantly. Cheng Sini's father's first attack made Xia Xian lose the first attack. Instead of passively defending, it is better to use the good cards played by the assistant brother to switch from defense to attack and inform the public of her existence. "I'm not afraid." Su Zimian loudly told her mother that she was not afraid. Neither her father nor her mother wanted to see her hurt. She also did not want to see her mother and father criticized by others. Xia Xian followed her daughter's hair, it seemed it was time to fight back. After Xia Xian and Su Cheng got married, they established their own studio called Qingxin Culture Studio. At 9 o'clock that night, Qingxin Studio posted a Weibo, or a lawyer's letter to Cheng Sini's father and daughter. Qingxin Culture Studio v. This studio will mainly sue Cheng Sini's father and daughter and some netizens for the following 2 points. 1 is breach of contract. According to the contract signed by Cheng Sini's father and daughter and Qingxin Culture Studio, during the filming period, Cheng Sini is obliged to cooperate with all work contents. Cheng Sini resigned arbitrarily because she was unwilling to play ugly, wearing clothes prepared by the crew, apparently violating the contract she signed. The second is defamation. The remarks of some netizens are slanderous to Xiaoxuan and Zuching, and we have the right to sue them. At the same time, the remarks of some netizens caused serious mental harm to their 6-year-old daughter, and we have the right to apply for mental compensation. Picture 1, Picture 2, Picture 3. The first picture is the contract signed by Cheng Sini's father and daughter and Qingxin Culture Studio. The part about cooperating with all the work strongly proves that the behavior of Cheng Sini's father and daughter did violate the contract. Figure 2 shows some legal provisions against defamation. Figure 3 shows the compensation provisions for mental injury. The belated counterattack horn is officially sounded.